My name is Dr. Adetola Salau, and I am the former political aide on education to the Lagos State Governor. Surprised me. Yes, I have been pleasantly surprised at the vast network that the fellowship has with various organizations across Europe, across Africa, and actually across the world too. Yesterday, I was speaking to one of the, she's a government official, and she does work with developing nations such as ours, where they're trying to establish trade and bilateral relationships between organizations that are here in the UK and then users who could benefit from those organizations, firms in Nigeria, and not just Nigeria, West Africa, Africa as a whole. And she was talking about a lot of these organizations that were currently going to be affiliated with this program, EdTech organizations, and the things that they offer. And as she was speaking about them and speaking about the programs that they've already set up in Nigeria, I was actually quite pleased to find out that a company that I've already been in talks with and discussing what are the things we can do in terms of getting data, working with our students and my teachers in Lagos, that they were part of the organization that they set up, this bilateral relationship, this partnership. And that was really nice to know that that is their function, is to be that bridge. And they're already working on it, and they're even building more upon that. So she was quite excited, and I was excited too last night. Oh wow, here I am, this is what I'm looking for, and you're looking for me, and we found each other, and you already have people down there on the ground who are doing this, and I've met them. So I know that these people that I'm working with, indeed, they do have a lot of value, which means that you're even going to give me more value by opening up other doors for me. So it had me really excited. And automatically, we already started making contacts with other people that she also said that have work like that. Trying to remember the organizations offhand. I can't remember them now, but we immediately linked up on LinkedIn, and she immediately sent out messages to all these other individuals that this is Dr. Adetola, she's ready to work with you guys, she's an expert, she's on ground, she's in Lagos. And I'm like, yes, this is really what I'm about, and this is what I want to do. And then the conversations that I had with other individuals yesterday too at our dinner, our fellowship dinner, there was a publisher there for Cambridge Press, yes, which of course I've always heard about all my life with all the different textbooks that they published. And we're talking about the issues we have with math pedagogy right now, with the teachers and student engagement. And I said, my God, he's speaking my language. We understand where each other is coming from. And he was talking about, the efforts that have been made here. And I said, yes, this is what we're trying to do over there. So immediately we exchanged contacts and we're like, okay, we're going to continue this conversation. So things like that immediately tell me, yes, this is of great value. And I have been sharing this on my WhatsApp status too. I've been doing really short video clips and telling people daily, like, you know what, every day I go back and reflect and say, okay, this is what I've learned today. And these are the advantages that I've seen from being a part of this. So yeah, I would say the biggest surprise has been how vast and robust this network is. So yeah. Yes. A lot of times when we are designing these projects, we tend to come down top heavy, from the top, pushing it down. And a lot of times we're not thinking about, okay, let's sit down, let's talk to these users. That's the main users for that project. And then also ask other stakeholders, what are your views upon this? What are the ideas you have? Taking feedback from them. And I'm also learning that, also talking to colleagues who have actually deployed solutions like this, learning from I don't want to call it failures, learning from their challenges, there you go, learning from their challenges, and then saying, okay, how can I tweak this to my own context? It's something that one should really take into perspective over and over and over, because you're already going to be using up so much resources. I mean, the money is there, but let's even go beyond the money. Time. And time is very, very, in fact, it's our most valuable resource. If I'm doing this in 2020, I don't want to keep repeating that same thing in 2021. I want to be able to come in 2021 and say, okay, this worked, this didn't work. I learned from these other people. What can we change? How can we really address the key needs of these people? So as I'm listening to them, I'm taking that that there should be a bottom-up approach more infused into this. We should also, learn from others, the challenges that they've had, and speak to our own context. And I am also learning more about the reality is there are no quote unquote fixed answers. So you're constantly going to have to reiterate and constantly change and tweak things on the fly right there while you're in there in that moment. And it's sort of a relief because sometimes you want to jump, like we were talking about the other day, you want to jump straight to solutions. You forget that sometimes you should step back and say, you know what, let me look at this and let me remember the big picture and the end result I want for this. And let me have that in mind. I'm worried, yes, I'm putting all these resources. Yes, I'm answerable to the bosses and all that, but let me not forget there's a big picture in mind here. So getting all these moving parts and constantly listening and learning from everyone has been such a great mental shift. And I'm hopeful that a lot of the tools that we've been giving, particularly design thinking, that I'll be able to utilize that more and more and more. I think the biggest takeaway of all of them that I'm seeing is pause and break down this thing into parts and then consult others and then go learn from other people what they have done. So I'm happy that I'm going to have all these different peers from all these different countries, and we're doing these things in different ways. For example, I'm right now thinking of how we're going to be working with our math teachers. And that was what we were discussing last night, how we're going to be working with our math teachers to make the learning more relevant, more engaging, so that the students are more infused about learning. And as we're talking about it, I learned that my Ghanaian counterpart, they're already working on this. They're working with HP, they're doing different things. I'm like, wow, okay guys, I like this. This is what I want to do. So he's going to come to work with us, but I'm also going to be talking to her about, okay, what are the things that you guys tried? What were the areas that you guys had some challenges with? What advice do you have for me, from what you went through? So I'm really excited about that. And I'm just like, wow, imagine by the time we put this on the road for these teachers and the students, what are the things we're going to get from this? And then, of course, I'll keep going back to ask her about their own experiences and look at our own experiences. So the thing I see from all of this is we're here to help each other. We're here to support each other. That's the viewpoint that we should have. I think the biggest challenge that I foresee right now is a lot of times whenever you're talking about carrying out a project, the first thing that people always think about is money. And I'm realizing that not that funding is not important. Oh, please, it's really, really critical. But I'm seeing that should not be the first thing that we think about. The first thing we should think about is let us break it down to these parts and let us start thinking about, God, there was something we just did right now, and I'm even trying to remember it now. I wish I had it with me because it would have been perfect. Okay, let me see. I think I might have it on my phone. It was beautiful. And it had to do with, yes, there we go. It had to do with preparing the prototype. When I'm an engineer by practice, by my learning, so whenever we hear the word prototype, automatically we're thinking of a product, a physical product, but sometimes it's an idea. It's a process that you're actually creating a prototype for. So I just mentioned gamification for our math teachers and them using that to teach and engage the students. So when I was sitting down and fleshing this out, I was thinking, automatically, when I go to sit down and I talk about this to my teachers, to my directors, to the district heads, the first thing they're going to think about is money. But I don't want them to think about money. I want them to first of all think about who are these people that are going to benefit from this? What are the opportunities that are going to come from this? And this is what we put together in our design thinking document. What are the opportunities? What is the roadmap for us to be able to execute this? What are the assumptions that we have around this? And let's see, the user needs, and what is the situational analysis? Okay, so why are we doing this? Why is it critical that we're doing this? And I remember over and over, we all agree that all our students have to pass mathematics when they get out of secondary schools. Not some. Everyone must pass English and mathematics. And we're having a problem where the students are like, why am I learning this? I hate this. It's just too much for me to do. And the teachers are like, okay, the students are not really interested. So there is a gap there. Addressing that gap, making the learning relevant, and then helping the teachers to make that learning relevant. So we need to bring the teachers and the students together, and we need to work with the teachers to be able to do this, and then get the students to be able to see their teachers doing this. So that's the situation that I see there. So working through that document that we provided for the design thinking exercise, I believe it will be a good thing when one is starting this, instead of first of all focusing on the money, is to bring those stakeholders that I mentioned, the directors, the teachers, principals, district heads, to a room and say, okay guys, this is what we're going to be doing in mathematics. We're going to be working with these math teachers. This is how we're going to do it. I want you guys to go back and think, because you're the ones who are going to be in the classroom with these students. I'm not going to be the one. I mean, fortunately, I have experience as a math teacher, but you are the ones. Sit down and tell us what are the challenges, what's your context like. I think a lot of the things that will come out from that will be amazing. And that is one benefit that I've gained from here. So no more just looking at just the money and then looking at difficulties, but seeing the fact that before we get there, let's start making this more feasible from where we start, and then we'll get to money. And even when we get to money, we'll start seeing that we can even start from where we are, improvising, using little resources here and there, and then also learning how to go find funds, which is something I've learned in my experience for the past 4 years. That a lot of times you think it's this big money and it's out of reach, but you'll be amazed how much closer it is to you than you think. Yeah, you're right, I have answered it. And the most impactful lesson that I've learned is we have gotten so used to, oh, there's a problem, there's a problem, there's a problem, that we don't realize that there are fantastic opportunities in those problems, and that the answers are actually closer than we think once we start breaking down those parts, and once we start leveraging the people that we have around us, because each of us have answers from our own perspectives. So that's what I have gained. I wish the residency part were longer, because it's so intense to pack all of this into. I mean, practically it's 4 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's 4 days. I think it should be 2 weeks. Oh, okay, maybe 2 weeks might be a little too long. Maybe, what's that? 5 plus 5 is 10. Maybe 6 to 7 days. I think that might be the sweet spot. That way, you have people actually sitting down to actually create a project from start to finish together. Simulations, there you go. Create simulations of these projects. And then role play. I believe there should be actually more role play. A lot of times you're so stuck in your own role that you're not able to step outside your own role and see it from the other person's perspective. And I believe that will really help us when we're carrying out this project, these interventions. So I would love to see more role play. I would love to see more simulations where we're able to sit down and ideate these projects, then actually carry them out. And I also like to see us learn and work together through pitching each other's ideas and kind of give each other feedback about these pitches. Because if you think about it, a lot of us here are either top management or close to top management. Like there's maybe a couple more rings above you. So that means you have to go present these ideas to someone. You need to learn how to do it effectively so that they have that buy-in. And then some of us have a lot more experience with that than others. So let us give each other tips. Let's give each other feedback on how to do this a lot more effectively. And then I'm also realizing a lot of us too, some of us have a lot of experiences with going to these organizations and presenting and getting funds. They should also be able to give tips and ideas on how they do that effectively too. I'd love to see more of that. And I believe that would have happened if it was a little bit longer. Like I said, it's 4 days right now. If we had had maybe 2 or 3 more days, that would be factored in. To me, that's really important. To be able to do this work effectively, those are things that you need to be able to do. The simulations, pitching ideas, role playing, being able to step outside your own role and be somebody else. A major learning that I have learned, because I used to be in the private sector running my own NGOs, social enterprise, and I used to always say, oh, government, look at what they're doing, what they're not doing. And then when I had the switch 4 years ago, when I was appointed and I'm now in government, I find out that the reality and the things you have to deal with are much more complex than I thought. I just thought there was gray, sorry, not gray, there was black and there was white. I'm finding out, no, there's a lot of gray, a lot of gray. And it would be good if a lot of us too step out and say, okay, you know what, let me be a teacher today. I mean, we explored it a little bit in one exercise we'd had online. That was nice, but that was online. Now that we're here face to face, and then we create these projects together, and then we now have these opportunities of, okay, you are the teacher, you are the student in those groups, maybe groups of 4 or 5. Then we can now truly flesh it out. I think it'll be so much richer, a lot more robust. I love this program, and I'm hopeful that there will be more cohorts of it. There's something important about bringing people together from all these different nations to meal together and problem solve. So I'm hopeful that HP and Cambridge will continue in this fantastic atmosphere, by the way, to continue to do this. It's very important that yes, the conferences are nice, but actually having this hands-on approach where you come now, you sit down with the pen and paper, and you actually sit down and start thinking and really thinking. There's something powerful about that. You know, the conferences, you are being spoken to all the time. But here, instead of being spoken to, you're actually taking that paper and you're writing out, okay, this is from my own experience. Okay, guys, look at what happened to me. What do you think? Give me feedback. We also had that in one session. Give me feedback. Like I said, I don't like calling it failures. Let's call it challenges. From the challenge I had, give me feedback from this, you know, here. It's really, really great. So I believe we should continue this. And I'm hopeful that all this learning will translate to something really wonderful for the children.